Everybody, welcome back to another recap of Black Swatch Survivor of season 48 of Survivor. This was a good episode.
Yeah. I asked my sister if she watches Survivor just randomly. And she was like, yeah. She said it like very confidently. And I was like, I think often to myself if I should go on the show. And she was like, why would you do that, Jade? She said, you'll have to eat cow balls and all kinds of stuff. And I said, you just told me with such confidence that you've watched Survivor before. What show are you watching? I was like, I'm new to this. I've only been watching for I guess 5 seasons now. 4.
Yeah, 4 or 5, yeah.
I've not seen one person eat cow balls yet. I said, "Are you thinking of Fear Factor?" She's like, "I don't know."
She's not wrong. There are moments in the auction sometimes, like if you win, you won't know what you get, and then sometimes it'll be like a Fijian delicacy, which will be like some fish eye or something of the sort, or grub. They used to eat grub. Like,
so did they stop doing this? Like, why is it I've not seen this?
It hasn't. I don't want to say they stopped, but because they always bring things back. They haven't done it in a long time.
Okay. Fair.
So this episode begins with them kind of reeling. It's right after Tribal from last week. They sent Chrissy home, and David is feeling away.
Well,
mind you, yeah. I want to say that he feels away the entire episode. However, Mary is actually very like, oh my gosh, what does this mean?
And she should be.
And I gotta be honest, like this random duo of David and Mary, neither of them are that bright.
Well, I don't know if they was filthy on each other in the woods, or I don't know. It just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that might be a thing too. But I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna be a link up, we gotta be a benefit to each other. We have to be a boon to one another, and neither of them are boons to one another.
No, you have become each other's kryptonite.
Yeah, liability.
Shauhin is feeling confident after Chrissy's blunt got put out because she came for him and failed. But he still doesn't trust everything that's happening around him. Everybody's like suspicious this episode, which is nice. Four Nipples tells Killer Kam that he voted for her in Tribal in the name of being honest. This honest crew. We see how this is faring for them. And then he's sniffing out Kyle because of his alliance with Camilla. And while he's not wrong, it feels like it's out of left field.
Yeah. David Whitemans a lot in this episode.
Ooh, real bad. I can smell it. It smells like the rain. People out in the rain.
Yeah. The next morning, they wake up. They have, their morning wake up. I hate this morning call where they all sit and look at the ocean. It's so dumb. But
then also, like, what the fuck else you gonna do in the morning? It's not like you can have breakfast. So,
that's
like,
true.
But what do we do?
Although I did get an insight as to how camp life is like for them, and it's outlaw because what the f-? They just gave up. Like they sleep it on the ground and I'm like, this is not the Survivor I know. Because
I would not be able to function.
No.
With this level of chaos and disarray, I need some sustenance. Maybe it's grubs, but I need something, and I'm going to have to figure out how to get some form of sleep.
Yeah, like there's going to be a high level of discomfort because that's what the whole point of being marooned on an island is for, right? Mm-hmm. However, Joe had head on a big slab of bamboo and then just slept on the ground. There's way too many creatures. Mitch was snoring, mouth wide open on the ground. You don't know
Something can
who can
crawl
what
in
and fly.
because when the snakes, oh,
The mice, the
that
rodent, the vermin. Well, is it vermin if it's their habitat? But still, it's
no.
rodents.
This is all theirs. Let's be very clear. I respect that this is you all's
Yeah,
land.
yeah.
I think my biggest fear is no longer in the ocean or brushing my teeth with sand. It's things
Things
crawling up
crawling
and
up
through
in
while I would
yeah.
never sleep, and I would therefore fail the game significant, or I would be like Star and I would just figure out how to navigate my way
Star's
through.
hour of power
Let me
because
tell you something. I'm like, you are the queen of give us nothing every episode, and I am here for it.
yeah,
I know you
she's
said you
going to
stopped
fuck
rooting for
around.
blacks on TV, but I'm rooting for Star. That's not off of self
That's
hate.
not what
That's
I
off the fact
said.
that that's what you said. That's what you said. It's what you said, and I get it. You
Not
know what I'm
at
saying?
all.
We started rooting for some black drag queens, and it'd be like and then we start rooting. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I get it. But
Although, congrats to Anya Nerve for winning. Well deserved.
who I was rooting for since day one of me watching that iteration of Drag Race.
Yeah, I watched the very first episode, and then I told you I watched a couple of episodes, and I was like, okay, Anya Nerve is where it's at.
Yeah, very much
But
so. Yes,
either
very well
way,
deserved.
wrong CBS show.
But we are absolutely rooting for Star because I literally want her to slither her way through this competition.
Right, they teaching her how to swim and. She's having her old architect. She said, "Next time I see Jeff, I'm gonna be a professional swimmer. Damn it!" And I was like, "Yes."
Star came here for summer camp, and I'm here for it.
And what pisses me off, and not about Star, is just this whole episode. It's like they did a whole bunch of work for nothing. Like they could have easily got out a Star. They could have easily got out of Mitch. And we said this last week. Like Star didn't have a whole vote, and they just said, "Oh no, we're gonna try something else. We're gonna get out Chrissy or Mitch." You know, when they see that he's a challenged beast and they see that he's withering away because he hasn't eaten in like 2 weeks.
I know.
Why not send him home? Like, you know what I mean? Like y'all could have easily got Camilla out a long time ago. So I just like I know
We could have, but she's smart.
but they're not.
And
Everybody
they're not.
here is. This is why I miss Say a little bit because Say, as we go on, we talk about David. Say would have called this out a while ago because you know, Dave is still feeling a way about it, and he brings up Camilla casually in the morning meeting, right? He doesn't say it, but he was like, "Oh, I think Mary wants Camilla out for sure," and it was like nobody.
Yeah,
I think
Mary
Mary
said.
wants. Yeah, Mary said, not me.
Now, I'm gonna tell you where my mind went because then Mary and Nips are trying to get into Eva's head about Kyle and Shauhin, and she thinks they're being paranoid, but she's still not ready to like jump because she still thinks that she can be the end all be all of their alliance. Kyle's trying to smooth things over with Nips because remember it got intense the day before, and that got me curious about his approach in court because you said he's an attorney. I was like,
I need to know what type of attorney he is, and
Yeah.
also based on the story that he told in this episode, I need to know where. Because you
Yeah.
know what? Here
Yeah.
he gives me University of Texas types. Like he gives me like he went to a D1 school.
well, let's see, where's he based?
He somehow okay, spoiler alert. So like in the episode, he has a one-on-one with Joe. They have a black conversation because it needs to happen. because yeah.
Child, he's an attorney here. He's from Virginia, but he lives here.
Oh, okay.
So what you?
But
A
what
public
type of
defender?
attorney though?
Right. I'm like, do you have?
Are you a tax attorney? Are you a civil rights attorney? Are you a real estate attorney?
Right, because the way that he like gets very emotional and flusters and starts stuttering and shit, I'm like, do you have like an Elsbeth approach? Are you like kind of clumsy in court, but you happen to be brilliant, or are you like
because
a public defender?
Does appeal to people's emotions, right? And he is, and you're right, he is very emotional, and he is very. But I also can't tell if that's him as a person.
He's also not smooth when he gets emotional. He starts, he starts losing his.
I guess so, but I don't know. I just because I know a lot of Kyle types, like they into white girls. And
he said his pet peeves are uppity people. That's hilarious.
Huh. I'm sure he's an uppity guy and he's man. But anyway, he and Joe have a black man conversation, and he talks about him going to jail and for 30 days. He was a troubled teen or whatever, and so like it seems like he had like a DUI of some sorts or a DWI, and he had to go to jail.
It sounded like white boy charges to me. I'm be honest with you.
Oh yeah, it wasn't anything like Joe. You could tell Joe may have been to jail because he was like. He didn't share too much. He was like
light skinned Derwin is an interesting one. He's an interesting one.
Oh, this was Joe's hour of power. We'll get to that. However, in this particular conversation, you're right. Kyle was trying to smooth things over, and he does it in a way that's very lawyery. Like he argues down, and like no one ever really thought to. David did catch on, but like Kyle did a lot of work to save Camilla the last 2 episodes.
A lot, and it was like kind of work because he's even still doing it with putting the battery in Shauhin's back on some. They trying to target us, my. So he's still finding a way to leave Camilla. But, no, it's not wrong. See, the thing is, none of these people are wrong about their intuitions here. Like everybody's discernment is spot the on except for Eva.
Yeah, exactly. And she can't help it right now. But
No.
Yeah, which I think
Mama's still winning, which we'll get to in a second.
She's going to win the season, and y'all are going to be so mad. So
Jade, yes. But what I'm praying for
is just like
I want Star to weasel her way all the way to the top.
I want Star to make type 3, but she can't win. Joe has to win the season.
No, she can't, and we'll get to that in a second. I need Joe to win over Eva, but Eva is going to win. Joe's gonna be Eva's goat, and I'm gonna be so irritated about it. And I'm be like, curry that because I'm over it. Like I've been over it since you all started. So speaking of which, remember last episode, at the reward challenge, Eva finds an idol or whatever, or finds a little note in the chips. So she has to go the next day out of camp when everybody's asleep to go figure out what it is. So she does. Shauhin catches on. Okay, he's watching everything because he's paranoid. So Shauhin catches on, and he's watching. I've cracked up when he popped up like a from the Black Lagoon in the background.
It's like, oh, wait a minute. I said, what kind of show is this turned into?
And then and I had to remember that we're watching this with night vision or the cameras, so it is pitch the black. So then light-skinned Derwin is like, Shauhin goes and stands over light-skinned Derwin. He's like,
yeah.
I almost snuffed you.
Dead in the middle of the night.
He's like, this bearded is over me in the pure pitch dark.
I know he looked like a sleep paralysis demon. Like
he did with that beard.
Night. Yeah.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that. So Eva is trekking off, and she finds where she's looking for or whatever, and she is the bamboos, right? So it's this like, you pick one. You could either just walk away with your little idol, or you could pick one of these bamboos. One of them will give you nothing. The other one will give you a 50-50 situation where you don't have to vote, but you can walk away and they can't vote for you.
Yeah, tribal council, right. Safety at
a safety without power. Safety without power. So she risks it. She ends up winning the safety without power. Then she has the option for a third. You can pick out of these three, and then you can win something additional. And she's like, I'm not going to be greedy at the casino. Yeah, I'm not going to be greedy at the casino. And you have to know when to stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because you're at this, especially, and Eva was right. At this critical moment, I cannot lose my vote. Like, especially here, because she can sense that the tides are turning. Because she's like, I want all my friends to get along, but I want all my friends to be friends with my friends. That's not happening right now.
It's not, girl, and I need her to get a grip. Next morning, she told us she was going to hold that to herself for a while, and I think she did it in the proper amount of timing. She tells her people in the morning, and she tells her people, Shauhin, Kyle, and biracial Derwin. And that gives them reassurance, because Shauhin knew she was up to something, and because he told Joe was like, I'm not even worried about it. Like, I'm not even concerned. Mama's going to tell me what's what. And she did.
Locked in with her. Which,
I'm telling you, he's her sacrificial lamb.
There's going to have to be there has to be a moment where he sacrifices her, or vice versa, and I hope it's not the latter.
Same. Yeah.
Like, if they make it to the end together, but like, I need drums, and I need one of them to turn on each other.
Same. And it has to be them.
I've seen a mother and daughter
because they're the
on
most
each other
locked
on the show.
Because the money's coming to the household regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, sure. I'll break you off. So anyway, taxes is high. California got a high sales tax rate.
We'd have me and Noah enemies. We'd have to be enemies after that. What you mean? I popped you out of my whole twat.
It'd be like Mrs. and Tori Spelling, just like,
you gonna let me hold 5K?
Wait, hold on.
I know. Are you in Brooklyn or
Car chase?
Oh, yeah, you're in LA.
Okay, they're passing on.
Is it one of those new pastel-colored Broncos?
No. No, I couldn't tell. I can't tell what the lead car was. All I saw was a trail of police.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway.
But yeah, she shares with them that she went on the journey, what she won, all that and that. Everybody feels good. Nip's intuition is hitting him, and he's trying it with biracial Derwin, with Joe.
This was a wild moment in television. And like, you can normally reality TV, you get like it's fake, it's scripted and stuff, but Joe, you saw his visible and visceral reaction to what this white man is trying to manipulate him to think.
Because he said, well, you flipped it on me. And Joe was like,
he said, you went back on your word.
Joe was like, now hold on now. All I got here is my balls and my word.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been holding on to both of those real tight. And he has been trying to play this stupid game of integrity. So, God,
it's so dumb.
So he's like, you don't get. So that's when we see the shift in Joe, because Joe been leading the pack and like all of that.
Father
Joe's
Joe.
like, white man, you don't get to do that to me.
Also, black men have an issue with being called liars in general. and two, especially one by a white man, and three, trying to manipulate the situation because the fact we all decided that we were going to vote Chrissy. Don't make it seem like. And then he said, "Well, inadvertently, you went back on your
Inadvertently,
word."
and also, you can't trust a white man who's out there in cargo shorts. They get heavy, and that's not a good decision.
There's a lot of.
But that man be in the ocean with his cargo shorts on. Okay, something is
does.
amiss.
He does with udders. You know.
Forward him. So, so Joe is now. Nips is on Joe's radar. It's like, no, you've got to go.
Yeah.
You've got to go. And that comes into play very soon. Meanwhile, we get nice, Stars learning how to swim via Mitch. Mitch is showing her how to swim in the sand, and she's executing it in water rather quickly, actually. Doing a fantastic job. And, everybody's kind of having a moment of just like, we get to relax and chill, but we're still hungry. And then it's time for the immunity challenge.
Jeff comes on screen exactly 30 minutes into the episode. So we had almost, if you're watching this on television, almost a full hour without Jeff on TV.
Yeah, they took a while to get to the challenge, actually.
Because remember last week it was like, oh, we started and we got a whole bunch of shit to go.
Yeah,
but
no.
Here, we had some to go through. Right?
Yeah, we had to have. There was many discussions happening.
Right. It was a challenge very similar to the one where, Joe and, White David, had a showdown previously. Basically, had to hold something at attention. People fell really quickly. It was the last showdown between Joe and David. And Joe almost choked. It was nothing but grace and mercy because he was inching his way towards
Baby, we
failure.
heard that ball click, clank at least 3-4 times.
Yes. It was hanging on by a mustard seed. And
what
Big
saved him?
Cocky, that step thing.
Those cargo shorts.
So, you had to step, if you got off this apparatus as well as holding tension, you would fail. And so David lost focus and he stepped off the thing and lost, and Joe won.
Being arrogant.
Yes. And Joe started with jury management. He he won the immunity as well as reward, which is, I don't know, a crudité platter and cheese and crackers or whatever the fuck from Hormel. And
Boys.
And the first person he picks is Mitch. Mitch has not been on reward this entire season. He then picks Shauhin, who I do not think has eaten either the entire season. And then, of course, he picks, his number one.
Which irritated me because this bitch has eaten every time a challenge has come around. She gets to eat.
Yeah, I will say I would have chose her too, and here's why. Because I can't make it so obvious that I am persuading the jury, right? It's like I am and I'm not. I also, this is about to sound bad. I don't trust them around Eva. I wouldn't trust them around Eva.
That's fair. He needs, right? Yeah, that's fair.
If Eva was a different type of person, my rationale would probably be stay there because you're strong enough to control the conversation and all that stuff. But Eva can't tell what people are lying to her.
No, it's true.
But the problem is they're not lying to her. They're all being honest with her. Nobody lied in this episode, and that was so frustrating. Everybody was being too honest.
I think Nobody technically lied, but I think the two
They didn't tell the complete truth
sneakiest ones
either.
was Kyle and Shauhin and Camilla.
Yes.
And that's more of like a protection situation than it is they're trying to get Mary and David out of here because they're problems.
Yes. And at the reward that comes up, everybody's been saying Mary now because of the fact that if essentially since Camilla would be equal to Mary in this scenario compared to last week's episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually they're like, well, wait a minute. Why don't we just go for David?
Yeah. Except for Star.
Now I don't blame Star in this scenario. And primarily is because Star ran to Mitch. Star ran to
David and Mary.
It was like, listen, here's what's happening. What do y'all want to do? And they're like, let's vote Mitch. And she's like, okay. Now Star agrees that Mitch is not the right choice. Mm-hmm. However, she feels as though she's aligned with these people somehow.
That's what I was confused about. I was like, well, why did you run to them first? Which I guess nobody else has really included her in
And David said he is potentially going to work with her, but I don't know what that means.
Me neither.
Either you are or you aren't.
Right.
Or you say you have some sort of connection, right? Like, I get, like, the beginnings of a working relationship. However, saying she is somebody I'm going to potentially work with, and for her to express to you or explain that information to you,
yeah,
that's a little weird. Like,
yeah,
the problem with I had with this season, I feel like there are a lot of scenes missing.
Yes,
like, I don't see how what's their faces got so tight. Like David and Mary, even back with Say. I feel like there was scenes missing with her too. Maybe it's just me because there's just some things that maybe I'm missing and I'm too high when I'm watching it. But I'm just kind of like,
I don't know because I don't understand where the David and Mary alliance came from out of nowhere either. It just kind of popped up. Whereas the other ones we've seen how they've developed. I can even see how Shauhin and Kyle's new thing is starting to work. That just kind of came out of left field, honestly.
Yeah. Did you know that did you notice that this was the last few episodes, there hasn't been an idol at play? Like, no one's went to search for an idol.
I think no, they haven't.
The last person that went to go look for an idol was Say. And that was episodes ago.
That's true. Why? Eva found the idol, but
right. And my assumption is because they believe Shauhin has an idol, except for Star. Star told David and Mary that Shauhin doesn't have an idol. Well, no, she didn't say that. She just knows for a fact that he does not have an idol. But when I was looking, or just talking with Chris, I was like, nobody's been frantic and searching for an idol in days. And I'm like, did they take them out? Did they? I mean, I like it this way. I don't like that many advantages in the game. I don't like these mini games, though. There's too many of them.
There's a lot of mini games I'm noticing, even more than when I first started watching, I feel like. Like, they'll do the journeys sometimes before, but like there are a lot of mini games. Even the thing Eva walked up on in the middle of the woods in the middle of the night, I was like, I haven't seen this since I started watching.
Yeah, it's a lot of mini games. I don't know. I don't like it. That's why I've been voting whenever they allow us to vote. I'm like, less gimmick. I need to see play. You know what I mean? Like, I need y'all to get to the
And I think them looking for idols, though, is playing.
It is. However, I would limit it, right? Because I don't like the expectation of somebody like, oh, somebody went home on an idol. That means, oh, production replaced the idol back in the woods, right? It becomes too meta for me. Like when I think about Drag Race and how they know how Rue responds to things, like,
Yeah.
and so it becomes really like routine like and robotic sometimes, as opposed to just being organic. Like I hate, and I think that's just the nature of something being on for so long. You know. But either way, they have more. Oh, after the challenge,
Yeah.
David is having a mentee bee. He is just spawning nukes. Mary, I don't know if she has to, whatever she has to do to calm him down, because he is like going the through it. I don't want to put that on her, but, he is just having a moment. And this is when they all decide, well, let's take David out. He's down. Why not just kick him in the balls?
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
It was very straightforward.
It was right down the middle. The votes landed with 3 votes on Mitch, which was David, Mary, and Star, which we all counted. And everyone, and all the rest of the votes went on David, clean and smooth.
Yeah.
And he was panini pressed about it.
Oh, he was so mad.
Yeah, like he was big mad.
You know what? But now, what I didn't even consider when I was watching it, not that this is not, I'm not like defending him. I forgot that he came on here to win a back. Who left him because he didn't have no money. So this nigga's probably like, my life is ruined, and
he lost that's why it was goal.
Yeah, now he about to be on the jury, and he's gonna be a nightmare.
And Camilla talks about that in Tribal Council this episode, about him not being good at jury management, and he's not. No. He alienates. He hates losing.
He's a sore loser.
Yes. And it translates and manifests in different ways that he's just an unpleasant person at camp. Yeah. Very quickly too. Yeah, we're getting back to voting out people because they're unpleasant at camp, and I appreciate that.
I'm really all the way down for that, because like, why do I want to go through an experience where I'm in the ocean and brushing my teeth with sand, and I'm hungry, and I got to deal with you? Like, please.
Yeah. Well, that concludes today's episode. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Where Star loses first in another immunity challenge.